Yo guys, what is up? And welcome back to another video on Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. Now, here we are actually in the Infinite Dragon Ball History event, Stage 5, and as you can see, I completely skipped through Broly. I mean, straight up. Here's the deal. So this is a challenge set forth by the one and only King of Super Battle Road, Masked Ningen. And this was on his, well, he tweeted it out, that's how I saw it. But this is his Discord challenge. And the challenge is as follows. So number one, first and foremost, you gotta no item the stage. It wouldn't be Masked Ningen if he didn't ask you to no item something, right? And then number two, the other stipulation is you have to have 3 unique characters from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Now, as you can see, I do have 3 on my team. And then again, just before we go over the team, I did want to point out I did completely skip through Broly. I do skip through, I think, 1 or 2 more phases. And straight up, guys, this video is going to be like 38 minutes long, so I couldn't, you know, the original recording was like 45 minutes long, and also pay no attention to the time at the end. I did have to stop and take a break to do something, and then I came back to it. One of the beauties of playing Dokkan Battle, right? You can just set it down, and then you can just come back when you're ready. So my 3 unique characters are the free-to-play Kid Broly, who is actually not too bad in this event. I would say for a while, he was a bit of the weak link, but then he became kind of a strong point throughout the battle because, of course, he infinitely stacks attack and defense. So obviously very, very nice. He also does have a chance to dodge from his passive, which, of course, is useful in any event, right? Short of where they disable dodging, which they actually, Gogeta does. Okay, additional super there, by the way, which Gogeta does. The very, very last phase, he does disable dodging. But luckily at that point, there's a very, very clutch dodge by Broly. That's the kind of luck you need in here to do no items. It just is what it is, right? So some really, really good dodges there. But yeah, AGL Gogeta does cancel your dodging, but no big deal, right? His defense was good enough at the end where we're not going to take, you know, 500k on a super attack or something like that. It wasn't stellar, but it was good enough. If you can get your defense to around in this particular event, I would say if you can get your, you know, defense to your stacking units, that is, if you can get your defense up to, what, I don't know, 200, 250,000, I think you have a pretty good chance of winning. You know, the opponents aren't going to hit you. Gogeta is tough, like, don't get me wrong, and this stage I would say is overall tougher than the Legendary Goku event because they come out firing on all cylinders. That Int Broly in the very beginning, very, very tough. I mean, he'll come out and super attack you on the very first turn and hit you for 200k. You know, I mean, they're not fucking around. Any single one of these villains, they're not fucking around, right? So that is just important to point out. I would consider this tougher, but I don't think AGL Gogeta hits you quite as hard as Int UI Goku does in the Legendary Goku event. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. That's just something I've noticed. So yeah, about 250k, you're not going to die on super attacks. So that was good, right? So Int Broly, definitely a solid choice. And then for the rest of the team, let's go over the other unique characters. So I brought AGL Broly, and I thought that AGL Broly, the Wrathful Broly, of course, I thought he was going to be a really, really solid choice. So he does like a little mini stack, a 3-turn stack of his attack and defense, which is really good, and he'll keep doing that throughout the duration of the event. So he'll stack his defense, and then it'll kind of reset right after he stacks it for 3 turns. I believe that is how that mechanic works. And then, of course, he builds up attack as he gets hit. He does have a really powerful link in Berserker, but on this particular team, not able to activate it. But he does get, like I said, he builds up attack as he gets hit. He builds up defense as he super attacks. That's from his passive. And he's just overall a really, really good unit. Like, he's still to this day closing in on 2 years old. Not quite, but he's getting there, right? Or is he 2 years old? I'm trying to think. Dragon Ball Super Broly came out in 2018, right? December of 18. I'm pretty sure that's when it came out. And then we got him on Global January of 19. I'm pretty sure that's how that happened. So about a 1.5 year old unit, and, you know, obviously still really, really good. Probably, I would say, better than the Goku and better than the Vegeta that came out on the corresponding banners. On the, of course, the Gogeta banner and then the Broly banner. So anyway, I really, really liked him. I thought he was just kind of like a no-brainer choice. He's really solid offensively, really, really solid defensively. You can't beat it, right? He's a really, really good banner unit. I really, really need more dupes in him. I still only currently have one dupe. He is sitting at a lowly 69%, not the most stellar. I would really like to pull more copies of him. But it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. He obviously got the job done. Now, my third unit, and again, I assumed he didn't explicitly say in the challenge, unless I missed something, he didn't explicitly say that you couldn't use friends. Like that didn't count as your 3, but I just kind of assumed that that's what he meant, that 3 unique characters, so meaning that the friend wouldn't count because it would more than likely be a duplicate character. So for instance, like if I decided to use AGL Gogeta in Movie Heroes / Fusion, I could not count the friend AGL Gogeta as, one of the 3, right? It's got to be 3 unique characters. So the other unique character I brought was the Tech God Goku, who I actually do manage to have rainbowed. It took a long time. I had him at 90% for the longest time. But he's very, very useful in this stage. So number 1, type advantage against AGL Gogeta. Very, very important. He's not going to take a ton of damage. He took a little bit of damage on normals, but definitely not going to take as much damage on super attacks when you're, activating your guard. You're not going to take as much, right? You're going to take a lesser percentage of damage, so you're not going to take nearly as much as a type neutral unit. So that's really, really good for him. And then number 2, like probably, even more important than that, is against movie bosses, which is about half of this event. He's got a whopping 77% damage reduction. Absolutely, obscene, right? Just crazy. A unit that gets 77% damage reduction at any point is crazy. Now, the only problem is not every single enemy we're up against is movie bosses, but a fair amount of them are. So we had the very first phase, we had Imp Broly, and then we have AGL Broly, and then we have the SSR Fizz Broly, and then we have Int Golden Frieza, and then we have the TUR, the transformed Fizz Broly. So he was very, very effective. I believe that was in 5 phases. So not too bad, right? Not too bad at all. And I just thought that, again, it's kind of one of those things that's like, well, if we're talking about the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, man, that's a no-brainer because, more than half of the event is up against movie bosses. So he's going to take virtually 0 damage, double-digit damage almost at all times in this event. So that was obviously a really, really, I thought was a really good choice. And as you can see, we are, running the Pure Saiyans team. We can kind of go over the rest of the team. Fizz Vegeta, I would say Fizz Vegeta, he's a fine unit. But unfortunately, that's about it. That's about as far as I'll go with that. He's not a stellar unit. He's not a great unit. He's fine. He's serviceable. Unfortunately, the thing about Fizz Vegeta is the way that his links change as he transforms, and then the fact that he just doesn't really do one particular thing well. He just kind of does everything just pretty well. You know what I mean? He's not a really hard hitter. He's not like a stellar defensive unit. He's just pretty good in all areas. He's just kind of relegated to be a floating unit on any single Pure Saiyans team. Any top tier Pure Saiyan is going to be better than Fizz Vegeta. I mean, you know what I mean? He's not a top tier Dokkan Fest exclusive. Maybe he was at one time, when he first came out, Saiyan Day 2018, maybe he was. You could say that he was top tier. That leader skill, to me, is like, that's what makes him useful. Not really for anything else he does. He did provide us the opportunity to get one, big heal on his orb changing. So he does orb change when he transforms into blue, which we will be getting, I believe, next turn. I think he's going to turn into blue. Could be the turn after, though. Hard to completely 1000% pay attention while recording commentary, right? So Fizz Vegeta, obviously just using him for the leader skill, straight up, and then of course he did, like I said, he gave us a decent heal, and that's important when you're talking about no items. You have to heal almost at every single event or every single instance where it's, you know, plausible, you have to heal at any point, right? Because you need every last bit of HP, because you're relying on Dokkan attacks and you're relying on same type orb collection. So right here, as much as you know, it's a shame because I would have easily floated him off. I would have gladly floated him off. Well, actually, I probably would have kept Broly in that third slot. I take that back. But he got sealed that turn. So it just didn't really seem like a good idea to give those orbs to anyone else, you know, unless it was like the Fizz Goku, who is the counterpart to the Tech Vegeta who actually made it onto the team. So unless it was him, I probably would have just given the orbs to him. So unless it was Fizz Goku. So I guess we can kind of move on. We can just go ahead and transition right into that Tech Blue Vegeta. Obviously, still a very, very strong unit. I do periodically check everyone's defense. And like after, I don't know, 5 or 6 stacks of his attack and defense, he infinitely stacks on super attack. And he gets 20% attack and defense per same type orb. So for every tech orb, he gets 20%. I'm sorry, for every same type orb, scratch that, he gets 30% attack and defense. And for every non-same type orb, he's getting 20%. So that would be rainbow orbs, and then anything else but tech orbs. So this was a really, really unique situation. Okay, so check this out. So we have 3 separate orb changes on the field. 1 orb change, and then 2 orb changes, and then a 3rd orb change. Just kind of a wacky situation. I had to take a screenshot there because, like, you don't see a full field of rainbow orbs every day. It's such an odd sight, right? Like, I've never seen that before, I'm pretty sure. So kind of a cool little thing, but obviously a little bit annoying because we have a couple of units here that are based, you know, their passives are based on orb collection. So, but that Tech Vegeta, he's kind of a basic unit. He's very, very strong. And again, I check his defense periodically. I mean, he's up in the 400,000 range, you know, after just, you know, 5 or 6 stacks of his defense. He's just really, really good, guys. Again, same with that Fizz Goku. They essentially do the same thing. They don't need anything additional on their super attack or anything else in their passive. They're good to go, trust me. Very, very good if you have not used them in the long event, particularly in the long event. They are just stellar. So, kind of moving on to the rest of the team. We've already gone over most of them. The one that we left out is LR, Kale, and Caulifla. So, speaking of infinite stackers, so Kale and Caulifla, another, to me, was just like a no-brainer. I wanted to squeeze them in on the team, like, kind of at all costs, because their defense gets so ludicrous. I'm talking, like, ridiculous, like, close to 1 million defensive stat, which is obviously ridiculous. That if we collect any number of same-type orbs, so AGL orbs with them, once we get, you know, toward the end of the event, because they've done so many super attacks, we get like a really, really significant amount of healing. And for a fair amount of these phases, we are up against pure Saiyans, which means they are guaranteed going to get 2 super attacks, and they can potentially get 3 super attacks. There was the 3rd one, by the way. So they can potentially get 3 super attacks from the potential system. So they get their 1 super attack, and then they get a guaranteed additional normal. And then if they're up against a pure Saiyan or a Universal Survival Saga enemy, they get a guaranteed additional super attack for each one of those. So, for instance, I mean, the sort of legendary example is them against Int UI Goku, SDR UI Goku, Universal Survival Saga, and pure Saiyan enemies. They get guaranteed 4 super attacks. It's obviously, or I'm sorry, guaranteed 3 super attacks, guaranteed 4 attacks. And they can potentially do 4. I mean, it's just crazy, right? Potentially 4 super attacks. I mean, there's not another unit in the game that does that. You know, obviously the fusions are freaking busted. They can do 3 super attacks. Well, except for active skill shenanigans, right? So speaking of the fusions, I really, really, really wanted to bring them on here. And I think, to me, Vegito was the better choice. Vegito, I mean, as much as I love Gogeta, I think Gogeta is probably a tiny bit better just from using them, right? But I would definitely say Vegito is a lot more balanced in terms of getting defense as well. You know, Gogeta, you really are reliant on him getting, like, additional super attacks to be defensively viable. Because remember, they raise their defense on 18 key, and they raise their attack and defense on 12 key. So, and remember that he doesn't get the guaranteed additional super attacks. So, he only gets the guaranteed additional normal, and it's super effective against all types. So he can potentially, from the hidden potential system, get 2 super attacks, but, big but, right? It's reliant on having additional on him. Now, I do have a +3 skill orb, but I have no dupes in the guy. So he cannot additional on, well, he can, but it's just not very likely, only a 6% chance. So to me, Vegito was the obvious choice, and then of course having type advantage against AGL Gogeta, again, just seemed like kind of the easy choice, more defensively viable than Gogeta. So I really wanted to make room for the fusions, but it wasn't really working out. Getting 3 units that were viable in this event that were unique to Dragon Ball Super Broly. You know, Gogeta obviously is unique to that movie, but he wasn't the most viable in the event. And then, of course, I could have run a dual Vegito lead, but it really started to get... I can't bring AGL Gogeta. AGL Gogeta, he's got decent defense. At the Rainbow level, he's usually sitting about 100k defense, which is obviously pretty strong. But without that 50% chance to dodge against AGL Gogeta, he's a sitting duck, man. I mean, really. AGL Gogeta hits too hard, you know, for 100k defense. And then, of course, running the risk of him getting super attacked, it's like instant obliteration, right? So it just wasn't really an option for this particular challenge. So what we ended up doing, as you can see, we're doing it straight up, man, the old-fashioned way. This is how you get through events, long events. You bring a lot of units that stack defense, and then if you can, units that are specialized for particular opponents, or just like straight up really strong units. So, you know, for instance, some other units I maybe could have brought, like the SS4s, for instance, like obviously would have been very strong here. Probably Goku a little better in this sort of situation. Vegeta much more reliant on his 18 key super, so he can raise attack and defense. So Goku obviously raises his defense on 12 key. Vegeta raises attack on his 12 key, which, I don't know, doesn't even make any sense. They should have... I get what they were doing, but also, like, they should have just made things equal. Again, I get it, but I don't know. That was annoying. So we've gotten quite lucky throughout the duration of the event. We got a little unlucky in the beginning with getting super attacked, but we've gotten fairly lucky with having type advantage, and like right here, this is obviously a very good rotation to start out with. So STR Gogeta can damage Kid Broly, but that is about it. Kid Broly is the only one on this rotation who can really be scathed. The Tech Blue Vegeta, I guess he probably could. Let's see. Well, yeah, his defense was at 120k before orbs. It's actually really good. Remember, he's going to tack on either 30% or 20%, depending on the type of orbs you get him. Just a very good unit, obviously. Been over him. So throughout the rest of this run, again, the old-fashioned way, man, we're trying to get shit done here. I ended up floating him off there. I think I ended up linking him up with the Tech God Goku, kind of preparing for the final phase of this event, which the final phase is not coming yet. That is in 2 phases, right? So we have Fizz Broly next. But I think I was more or less preparing there. Going to share Warrior Gods, which is an extra 15% attack link. So that just seemed like a really good choice. But I wasn't going to try and force the issue, because Tech God Goku against this Gogeta, man, he was getting hit for like 50k on normal. So like if we would have got supered against Tech God Goku, we would have definitely died. He's not a super strong unit except against movie bosses. He's absolutely busted against movie bosses. But right now we're in a very lucky situation. So we have an AGL type advantage unit. And at this point, believe it or not, putting Fizz Vegeta in that second slot is going to be the better idea. So if you notice there, he's got more than double the defense of Goku. So even a type disadvantage super attack would have done less to Vegeta than it would have to the Tech God Goku. So But as we keep going, guys, just remember that this is like a very, very slow event. Very, very slow event. There's just, again, not much I could do about it. When you're talking about doing no items, you have to be careful. So, again, just good old-fashioned stacking, right? Stacking, 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 and then, of course, getting a little bit lucky, too. You got to get lucky in no-item runs for sure. It's all about the RNG, baby. All about the RNG. Ask the Masked Ningen about the RNG in no-item Super Battle Roads. It's all RNG. I mean, all you got to do is, essentially, like, you got to do the event depending on the difficulty of Super Battle Road. You just have to do it 100, you know, between, I don't know, 1 time and a dozen to 100. The Realm of Gods is more like 250 times or something crazy to get that done. It's just, it takes a lot of patience. It just takes a lot of this, right? Just a lot of going through the same units, making sure that they're getting super attacks, making sure you're placing them in the right positions, as I'm doing here. Anyway, guys, if you have made it this far in the video, go ahead and slap a like on it. Let me know if you decide to do this Discord challenge. I found it to be really, really interesting. It really, really made me have to think about what team to run here. So I really did enjoy, you know, these little challenges here and there are definitely cool, like, because I have beaten this stage 5, just for the content, right? Different videos I've made on the channel. I've beaten this stage several times, but never with this much, you know, planning, right? Mostly my plan was to go through and just frickin' rickroll it, right? And just, you know, use the fusions and destroy it, right? So having to come up with a little bit of strategy was actually kind of fun. So let me know if you've done any good challenge runs, if you've ever done a Discord challenge from Ningen before. I know the homie DBZ Blaze has for sure. This is obviously going to do double digits right here. Kalen Caulifla, just, you know, omega level powerful. Still to this day, I actually did do a comparison video on Kalen Caulifla versus UI Goku. And UI Goku won out, but it wasn't as big of a gap, I think, as people thought. You know, people like to forget that, you know, UI Goku, man, yes, he is strong defensively. There is no question about that, especially when he starts getting his dodges in. But if he can't dodge early, man, and build up his attack and defense through his dodges, dude, you're in trouble. Like, Kalen Caulifla, yes, again, another unit where if they do not get super attacks, if you can't get them 2, 3, 4 super attacks, yes, they are going to get hit hard. It just is what it is. There are only a very, very small handful of units in the game that can perform 4 super attacks, and no other unit in the game can perform 5 attacks. There's not any other in the game. You've got all of the Vegito Blues. They can perform 4 super attacks. They are the only other units in the game, I'm pretty sure, that can perform them. Obviously, Fizz VB, Tech VB, and then the LR Tech VB. Upon performing his active skill in that 3rd slot, you can then shuffle him around to the slot 1 or 2, and then he can subsequently perform 4 super attacks because he activates his whole passive. It's absolutely obscene, right? Just crazy, crazy, crazy. So what I decided to do here, sort of mid-edit, is just because, like, I wanted to keep this video, like, a little bit more digestible, is I did decide to go ahead and skip through the other Fizz Broly phase. And to be honest with you, we kind of got through it very, very easily. Again, got kind of lucky with the super attacks, got lucky with where he was attacking certain units. And again, we had Tech God Goku just putting in work, man. He's able to tank absolutely everything. Absolutely crazy. The only time Tech God Goku took any damage in this entire fight was against... Well, okay, not in the entire fight, but against movie bosses. He actually took a little bit of damage against the Int Frieza. Int Frieza was doing, like, not that it's a lot, but he was doing like 13, 14k on super attacks, which you don't see too often against movie bosses. It just goes to show you how hard some of these units hit. I maintain that this event is harder than the Legendary Goku event. The one annoying thing, the most annoying thing, I would say, that this stage does is oftentimes it will lock your characters in place. It'll lock your rotations. So it can really, really mess up what you got going on. Sometimes they can lock 2 characters at the same time. I don't know the odds of doing that, but on occasion, that was a a very unfortunate dodge there. That would have done a lot of damage, by the way. But yeah, sometimes they can lock 2 characters into place. So that obviously became very, very annoying. And if you get a little unlucky with that, you might have to redo the event, right? Because you might die. Because you just... If Fizz Broly locks my rotation, and he locks Kid Broly into place, and he's getting Kid Broly's getting attacked 6 times in one slot, well, yeah, we're dead, man. So this is Kid Broly. His defense is somewhat stacked up at this point. He's a little over 200k defense right now, and he took 250,000. So we did get a little bit lucky there, and then obviously we need to get lucky right here because he super attacked us at the very, very last possible moment. My thought was, well, he can't possibly super attack us this turn because he just super attacked us. So that was my thought going into this, and then watch this. 3 measly orbs. And look at that healing, dude. I think at this point they were almost to 700,000 defense. Obviously just a ludicrous number. And then I was completely comfortable giving the Dokkan attack to this Vegeta. He does have quite a bit of crit in his hidden potential system. So the odds of him, critting are way better than Kale and Caulifla critting, because mine only has, I think, a +3 additional crit. I think they have a +3, additional crit. A +3 crit in the hidden potential system. Not in the hidden potential system, but you guys get it, a skill orb. Man, if I could get my words straight, right, that'd be great. And then there they are again, 2.57 milli. Not too bad. And then considering they're about to fire off an additional normal, and they could potentially get that double super. Do they get it here? It looks like they don't. So that's probably the weakest you'll see Kale and Caulifla. But, being effective like that against Pure Saiyans is just absolutely crazy. Pure Saiyans is a pretty good chunk of the game. And as you saw in this event, there are quite a few phases with Pure Saiyans. So Kale and Caulifla, very, very, very good unit if you do not have them. To me, they're like the #1 target for yellow coins. If you guys somehow, if you are free to play, maybe you've been doing 1 summon or 2 summons every legendary summon banner. Maybe you're getting close to 500 coins. I think Kale and Caulifla easily are the #1 target. Now, that is subject to change. I would say STRUI Goku is probably #1 at this point. But Kale and Caulifla, dude, they offer... You can essentially, beat any long event with them on your team. UI Goku, obviously I didn't bring him on this team because of this very last phase. He's obviously an absolute sitting duck against AGL Gogeta. And then AGL Gogeta not able to do anything against this Vegeta here. And then again, he gets a big, big dodge. That was very, very irritating. But Kale and Caulifla, I still would say maybe just a little bit behind UI Goku. But UI Goku, keep in mind, not even available with coins yet. And yes, you could say LR Tech Broly, of course. LR Tech Broly is a really, really good choice for coins as well. Goku Frieza, yes, but Repsa Universe 7, I will say Repsa Universe 7 is getting a little bit better if you have, been paying attention to the JP side of the game. The Repsa Universe 7 team and just overall the Universal Survival Saga team, look at that defense, dude. Almost 760,000 from LR Kale and Caulifla. Absolutely ridiculous, just ridiculous. But the Universal Survival Saga in general, and then they obviously heal us to full. so sweet. Is really, really good, especially with LR full power Jiren. The EZA of Topo and Dispo, really, really good. So if you do enjoy running Universal Survival Saga, I would say that they would be a good choice, because obviously, Goku and Frieza, they're going to link up pretty well with the LR UI Goku. They're obviously going to both share, I believe they're going to share Over in a Flash and TOP. So obviously that's 6 key between the two of them. That's really, really good. And then Legendary Power, Fierce Battle. I mean, you guys get it, right? They're pretty solid Lincoln buddies. No doubt about that. So they're a very good choice. I would say God Goku is a fair choice as well if you don't have him, which I think if I'm able to acquire 500 coins, I don't know. I may not hop back into the banner. We shall see. I'm not going crazy on these banners. I've already told myself I'm not going crazy on these banners. But you know, we'll see, right? We'll see what happens. I don't want to. I definitely do not want to, you know, go too crazy right before the 300 million download celebration, or excuse me, the 350 million download celebration. Because I can guarantee you this. Go ahead, mark it in the books, man, right now. I'm gonna go ahead and guarantee that the LRs in the 350 million download celebration are going to be better than Rose and Broly, Chi-Lai, and Lemo. So I'm not really butthurt if I don't pull them. 2.4 million, dude, on the additional normal. Whoa, that was crazy. I do believe we get the W here with the the Fizz Blue Vegeta. Oh no, just a tiny sliver and he's super attacks, dude. Ugh, that's rough. That's rough right there. Good thing we had a lot of health, because obviously I would have been absolutely livid if that would have happened. If we would have just died there. But it looks like Tech God Goku going to get the dub for us. But there you guys have it. Obviously, I'll show the win screen. But, guys, the no item run for this stage in the books. Masked Ningen's challenge in the books. Like I said, I had a lot of fun doing this. Took me 2 or 3 tries, so I had fun. It was definitely a nice challenge. Slap a like if you enjoyed this video, and let me know if you plan on taking this on, and consider subscribing if you're new. I love you guys, and thank you so very much for your support, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.